Hello guys and welcome back to finally another collectible review. Today we have Hot Toys Dx19 Dark Knight Batman. One of my favourite Batman movies is The Dark Knight, and I obviously needed a Christian Bale in my collection. This is the first one I've ever bought. I missed out on the other ones. I was far too young and didn't obviously have the money back then as a kid. But from what I've seen, this is probably the best one that they've made. And they have updated drastically from this one to the previous one, which I think was the Armory set. I still think there is a little bit of inaccuracies here and there. Obviously, once I start the unboxing and that, I'll go a bit more further into it. But for the most part, this looks pretty good. As I think everyone knows now in the collecting world, that In Art are doing their attempt of this version, and it would be interesting to see what difference this one, the Hot Toys one, and the future In Art one have. But overall, I'm excited to get this unboxed and take a look of it. But before that, I do want to look at the box first, because the box art is a collectible part in itself. I think the only weird thing is here, Batman, Defender of Gotham City. I don't really get that tagline. It probably would have been better to have a different tagline than that. Like, I think Batman, the hero Gotham deserves, probably would have been a better tagline. Because that comes out of Jim Gordon's mouth from the end of Dark Knight. I've never heard anyone say that in the trilogy. He's the defender of Gotham City. But, that's just me being extremely picky. And obviously me being a Batman fan, I've never really heard that term before. The hero that Gotham deserves is probably a better tagline than that. But overall, the box art is pretty good. It's DX quality style, so you're going to expect higher respect and love put into the DX boxes in comparison to the more smaller box arts. But I think that's pretty much it. I'll wait for it to spin around one more time and we'll get to unboxing. So right before I get into the head sculpts and their movie accurate pictures and all that, I wanted to just go through this really quickly. I don't really get this. I know they did this with the original Heath Ledger DX11. I think they do this with most of the DX line. Jack Nicholson one I got. I don't really get the point of this. I think it's a luggage or a keychain. I think it's a luggage handle bag. I have no idea what this is. I think they should have just given us a one-to-one replica Batarang. This is nice, it's felt, but again, I don't see a point in anyone using this. And if this could have taken a few extra bucks off the actual price of the figure, I would have sacrificed this and said just get rid of this altogether. But again, that's just my 2 cents in this. Maybe some people do like this. Whatever. So now we've got the head sculpts. We've actually got a couple here. We've got technically 3. Well, not technically. We've got 3. We've got one that has a light up feature. But I'll start off with the Christian Bale head sculpt. I initially didn't like it. I didn't like the blogger photos that showed. It kind of looked like it was like filtered. Like they made like a baby smooth Christian Bale from the blogger photos. This looks pretty good. And I'll throw up the blogger photo I'm referencing. You know, no shade to that person, but it did change my opinion. When I first saw it, I said, oh, they've changed the look of this. But no, they haven't. It was just the photo was a bit weird. But this looks pretty good. This is pretty much Dark Knight. Yeah, I would say this is Bale's look from the Dark Knight. This is definitely not Begins. And it's obviously not Dark Knight Rises because there's no grey sideburns. And he looks obviously younger. But not Batman Begins young. So I'm saying it's that happy medium. It's Dark Knight. Which I think this is what Hot Toys have done as a smart thing. Well, smart in their eyes. I think it's a bit stingy, a bit shady as well, where they've labelled this Dark Knight Trilogy, where they can get away with some inconsistencies with the suit itself and with the head sculpt and say, well, it's the Trilogy, so we're not going accurate to any of the movies. We're kind of mixing them all in. So this head sculpt is pretty much, yeah, like I said, Dark Knight. But it looks good. I think they got the eye color. Let me go in a bit there. Yeah, they got the eye color pretty accurate this time. They've been kind of off with the other Bale head sculpts. This one looks pretty good. The hazel. Sometimes they go full green, but I'm pretty sure he's a hazily brown green. Pretty much like my eye color, to be honest. But yeah, the hair looks good. I personally would have liked if the hair was more messy. So we have Bale taking the cowl off and you have the messy hair look. I'll throw some pictures up. I think I would have liked that instead of the more sleek, parted, gelled up look. Because he wouldn't look like this when the cowl's taken off. And you don't have a suit body to swap this head sculpt on anything. So obviously, when he takes a cowl off, he's not going to have nicely parted, silked back hair. But it does look good. Yeah, it looks good all the way around, basically. So overall, no real negatives of this. I actually really like this. Like I said, the blogger photos almost pissed me off, but Hot Toys done good with that, so kudos with that. So now we've got the other one, which is probably the least likely one I would use, is the light up one with the terrible faceplate. But again, Bale was known to have weird faces pulled during the whole trilogy. So this is accurate. But yeah, the cowl looks nice. This is also like a nice callback to the comics when the eyes go all white. It was kind of the way they kind of like sneaked that in. Instead of going full comic accurate with the white eyes, they made it change for the sonar look. But overall, the cowl's nice. Again, not a one I would display because, again, I don't really care about light up features. Actually, a good topic is, speaking of the actual batteries that go in here, I'm actually surprised they didn't stop this figure from coming into Australia. We're kind of having some weird thing with button cell batteries. They're getting banned here. So I'm surprised this figure didn't get like sent back to where I bought it from, but lucky it's here. But yeah, there's some weird thing going on with Australian button cell batteries now. But regardless of that, the cowl looks pretty nice. And I think it looks much better than the Armory set and the other 4 or 5 ones they've made. They've made a fair bit of Bale's Batman. And this is the last one here. And this is the one I'm most likely going to use. You know, just the classic Batman cowl from the Dark Knight trilogy. A little bit of fluff there. But yeah, it looks nice. And like I said, it's kind of surreal me holding this as well, because I've never owned a Bale Batman. I've only seen it. But yeah, it's nice. It's, from what I've physically seen, it's a huge update from the other ones that have been made. Man, it would be nice to see what In-Art pull out. Like, I want to see what they can do with this, because Hot Toys have done a pretty good job with this version so far with these head sculpts. And obviously, much like all the other Bale's Batmans, you have the eye rolly system with, let me just grab it down here. With this, you shove this in on the eye sockets to move the eyes. And I think this is like a little plug button to take out that. Although actually, this is a good segue to this. I actually would have preferred if they got rid of this idea and done what they did with the Ben Affleck Batmans and made it magnetized. I think this is an old system. You know, that shouldn't be here anymore. I think Hot Toys should update and do a magnetic faceplate switch outs. And with the actual, I'll grab this again. With the actual eye rolly system here, I would be careful with this. You can honestly just do it with your fingers and move it around like I did. I've done that. Because this is acrylic translucent, I would be careful not to snap these at certain bends and joints. But again, that's just me being cautious, so I'll probably never use that. But going back to the head sculpt here, I'll throw up some reference pictures quickly of this. From what I've seen, this looks pretty dead on, spot on to the movie. And also, before I forget, this is magnetized. I think I mentioned that, like the other Bale Batman Hot Toy figures. So I like that. I like the kind of going and moving forward from those ball pegs. But this is nice overall. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the accessories out and I'll quickly go through them. So this is basically all of the accessories, aside from one thing, that is that cape. It's, well, yeah, it's kind of, I'll consider that an accessory, but I'm going to do that one after these ones, because I got a fair few opinions, you can say, about the actual cape itself. But this is basically, aside from attachments on the actual figure, these are basically the accessories. So you got this, which doesn't really look like much, but this is actually like a neck brace that the Bale head sculpt slips on to make it look a bit more uniformed. So you got that, which again, pretty basic. You've got obviously the staple grapnel gun, Nolan's accessories being obviously black and with the gold trimming. That was kind of the unique part about Nolan's Batman, which this also has like a spring load. If I go in a bit close. So that's nice. I would have loved if this was die-cast, and I think that would be my main critique about most of these accessories. This would have been really, really nice if this was all die-cast. But for what it is, it's a Batman accessory, it's a grapnel gun, and it gets the job done. We got this, which is a little spike bomb. I forgot which one this was actually in. I think this was the first movie, right? Possibly the third movie as well. I don't remember these used in Dark Knight though, but they may have been where, you know, the Batcave just on like an accessory table and all that. I haven't watched Trilogy for a while, but I think this is either from the first movie or the third. For what it is, again, nice. It's full plastic. Again, I would have loved if they'd done a bit of die cast for the actual spikes here. Also, another one that was retracted without the spikes, because I think these opened up. But for what it is, it's nice. You've got, obviously, the EMP gun from the third movie. Again, it's full plastic, no die cast. No weathering, but of course, majority of Nolan's Batman, like Christian Bale's Batman, wasn't really known for weathering. He was pretty clean throughout the whole trilogy, and so were his accessories as well. You get a bit of a LED function here. Again, I'm not going to use it because I don't really care about the gimmick. But for people that do like LEDs, I think this is really stupid on Hot Toys' part for only having one light up here, and then the rest here having no light. So I think the point is the light is supposed to shine on these translucent bits, and the translucent bits are supposed to reflect down. But I don't think the gimmick works well. That's a better shot there. So you only get that LED light there, which again, for people that like LED light ups, I think you'll be a bit disappointed with this. But I think most people would probably have it on the bike, the Bat Pod. Again, it is what it is. I'm not going to use it, but whatever. This is probably my most disappointing of it all, is the Batarang. Obviously, you got a hand there, so I'll zoom in because I'm not going to bring the other hands. The gloss there is nice. The grip there is kind of good as well. The grip there as well. It's pretty much similar to the Batman Begins suit as well. That it kind of had that grip on those gloves too. The disappointing part is by far the Batarangs. These should have been die cast. It's like, Hot Toys, you've done it with the 1/4. Can you do it with 1/6 as well now? And I think this is what In Art will probably capitalize on, is doing die cast parts. But again, that's the question. Is that worth buying an In Art product for that price? And is die-cast really that big of a scale difference to then buy a figure that's probably double worth of what this one is? But that's a topic for another discussion. But overall, I'm disappointed that this isn't die-cast when it probably should have been. At least give us one, because they give us a chunk of spares. So one of them could have been die-cast. Then we got this sticky bomb gun, which kind of pulls like that. Yep, like that. I think this clicks in a little bit more. No, I don't want to risk breaking that. And then the sight. I think that hinges. I'm going to double check it. There we go. There we go. I knew something else popped out. So we got that as well. So again, overall, this is fine. I think these little parts that are retractable should have been die cast just to give it a bit more strength. And I think the same problem with the other one is, yeah, this splits in half. I think this should have been magnetized just to make it a bit more stronger of an attachment. Because the more you keep doing this, the more brittle it's going to get. Me personally, I'm not going to use this at all because it doesn't come with the backpack from the Hong Kong scene. There's no real point of even having this used, to be honest. So that's going to be the first and last time that this is going to be taken out the box, basically. But overall, I think it should have been a bit die cast, like I said, on the bits that are movable and magnetized where this split is. But again, it's fine. And then lastly, we got the faceplates, which you got kind of an open mouth and more of like a pissed off look. This is basically when he's fighting Bane, possibly. He's asking for the trigger. This one's just like a mid-talking one. Again, they're fine. I'm never going to use these though. I'm going to use the one that is on the head sculpt already. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the accessories. Actually, I might as well start moving these off a touch. There we go. And we've got obviously the display base here, similar to the original Dx12. Yeah, Dx12 because Joker was 11. I think they put a bit more detailing in the actual steps here. So there's a bit more weathering. Obviously the plaque is now gone, the chrome one. You've got, I think this is plastic. It feels like plastic printed. Also, when I was unboxing, this is a shitty idea, Hot Toys. Take them out. I mean, if you're gonna block off access for wiring and that, just piss it all off altogether. Like, there's no point just having that anymore. Remold it something at least and fix it. But aside from that, it's good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all this. I'm going to grab the cape out because I have a bit more harsh opinions on the cape itself. So here's basically the cape, and it comes with this cardboard little holder, which again is nice. I'm going to see if I'm able to take this out. Okay, there we go. You just push them through these holes that are already open. Alright, so we got that out. So move that out the way. So this is basically the cape, and I think this is the best cape that Hot Toys have done regarding a Batman cape. It's a nice drape cape. I know some people are pissed off that it's not wired, and I understand, but in regards of the Dark Knight trilogy, Bale's cape barely done a lot of dramatic stuff, but I do get the point where people would have wanted an option to do it. And I think Hot Toys, if you're going to do a DX, give both capes. Give one like this, that's a drape cape. Give another one that's wide. I think that's fair on both collectors that want to have the choice to do that. But in my opinion, I prefer a cape like this. That is, it just falls naturally. But the accuracy is something I have a problem with. And this might look a bit better on the actual figure, and I haven't put that on yet. But on face value like this, it's not the right material. It should be a velvet style. Well, it should look like velvet. It originally should be a parachute material, and they've punctured and flocked hairs to make it look velvet. But this doesn't really look like that. And again, I don't know if it's the color. It looks a bit faded black instead of the really dark charcoal that it should be, because it should contrast different to the actual suit. And I'm looking at the suit over there. The suit in this looks similar in coloring, which is incorrect. This should look much darker than the suit itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this here, and I'm going to pull out this this little man here, which is the NECA figure from Batman Begins. And again, excuse the head sculpt, you know, it's a bit old. It's probably 10 years old. It's almost older than me, to be honest. But this probably came out when the movie released. And again, this fabric, even though it's 7-inch, this fabric is much more accurate, and you can see the color difference as well. This one is a touch more darker, which it should be, and up against a suit like this, you've got the dark black suit with a matte cape. So you got the different coloring here, and even though this is a different suit, it's the same coloring from the Dark Knight. They're both the same coloring. It's a different suit design, obviously. If I was to choose, I prefer this look. You know, I love the Batman Begins look. I love the suit. I'm not a fan of what Hot Toys have done with the suit. Again, the screen accurate suit is rubber, so obviously Hot Toys are going to replicate that, but I personally don't like rubber figures, and that's why I've strayed away from any Batman Begins merch, which is a shame because it's my favorite suit of the trilogy. And I'll throw some reference pictures up of the suit itself. You know, it's a beast of a suit. Like, he looks like he's gonna pounce on you and just rip your head off, you know. But yeah, so I'll put this guy back away. And also, speaking on the suit, I'll throw up some other pictures, which is the deterioration of the original MMS. I think it was an exclusive Batman Begins suit that had the swap out with the First Night Out look. And I'll throw some pictures of them up. You can see the suit is really, really deteriorated throughout the years. Some person put it up on one of the group chats of what happened to his Batman Begins suit, and a lot of other people chimed in saying, yeah, this has happened to ours as well. And by the looks of it, Hot Toys have remade that and reissued it, which that should be releasing soon. Knowing Hot Toys, it's probably the exact same method of rubber material they did back then. So you're going to get the same outcome with this new one, with it rotting and splitting and discoloring and all that. So again, that's why I've always strayed away from the Batman Begins merch from either Enter Bay or Hot Toys. So that's why I've used the Dark Knight as my representative of Christian Bale's suit, because it's the only one that looks like has, you know, Hot Toys have nailed when it comes to longevity and all that. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach this up on the figure and I'll show you the figure itself. And just before I start putting away some of the accessories I'm not going to use anymore, including this pretty great head sculpt, I might as well throw it up on the actual body, see what it looks like. And yeah, it looks pretty good. You know, you wouldn't be a fool to display your Batman like this. It looks really good. The cape, I'm getting second thoughts on the cape, even though it's not accurate material wise. I think the coloring on some angles looks fine, but I still reckon this should be a bit more charcoal, dark matte, but it looks pretty good. It's the best cape Hot Toys have given us, and that's saying something. And for people that want to know, that broken cowl I bought a couple of years ago from like eBay. It came with a heap of accessories, and I bought it for like 10, 20 bucks. It came with a lot of other accessories, including this broken cowl. So I don't know if it's, maybe Bane has it or Selena Kyle, the exclusives. I'm not sure. So yeah, it's definitely from the Dark Knight Rises. I just don't know who has it. But this looks pretty good. And I might as well zoom in a touch. But yeah, in my opinion, the non-wired capes just look way better, especially up on the collar part here, where it's not like squared or boxed off. It just falls really nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take everything off and have him as Batman and do suit comparisons and see how accurate it is. So I'll get right into that. So here's the part of the suit and tailoring. Overall, it looks pretty good. There's no real complaints with the accuracy. Although I will say, I don't know if it's just my figure or maybe this is just with all of them, but it looks like his abdominal padding is a bit twisted. It should be aligned with the pec muscle here. And you can see it's a little bit off center. So maybe I'll just have to twist it back. I'm not 100% sure of that. I'll zoom in just to get my point across. You can see it's a little bit off. So I don't know if that's just the way they've put my suit together. Maybe, again, I just have to twist it around. But while I'm here, the carbon fiber is great. The other Hot Toys Batmans didn't have that. And I love how they've pretty much done a spot-on job before that. The belt, again, the belt out of box is a bit rised up. It should go down a touch to where it is now. And that's all fine. Although I have one complaint about the belt is the clip at the back to fit the grapnel gun doesn't really work. You're playing a bit of a balancing game with that, and I'm not really the biggest fan of having that grapnel gun hooked at the back when it's not tight to even hold it. So just zooming back out, I might as well throw a couple of reference pictures of the actual suit. And as you can see, it's fairly good. It's pretty good. What I might do is just go a little bit down to here and zoom in a bit on the gloves. And as you can see, the glove straps on both sides are outside, are overlapping the gauntlets, which that's actually Dark Knight accurate, not Dark Knight Rises accurate. And that's where I think where Hot Toys have kind of sneakily gotten away with some inaccuracies, because they haven't definitively said which version of film this suit is from, so they can kind of get away with doing a little bit of inconsistencies here and there. But that's probably the major difference from Dark Knight to Dark Knight Rises is the gloves. Like I said, Dark Knight, the gloves should be as is on here, and in the Dark Knight Rises, it's actually tucked under the gauntlet. But again, figure-wise, this is probably the better outcome. And on a personal wise, I personally love Dark Knight more than Rises, so I'm okay with that being accurate to Dark Knight. And I think everyone knows the mesh, it's mesh fabric underneath, and it's sculpted plastic throughout the whole body. Here and the legs it's not rubber, it's kind of a hard plastic, but not as brittle as the gauntlet piece, if that kind of makes sense. You kind of have to feel this to understand it. And me never buying the previous ones, I was kind of interested to see what this fabric material was made out of, if it was that shit rubber that they've glued on. It doesn't feel rubber, it feels kind of soft plastic in comparison to the other parts of the body. So what I'm going to also do is go down to the shoes and boots. Again, pretty accurate. Not much to complain about this. I think the most complaint is the cape. I think the suit as a whole was pretty much as flawless as you're going to get. And I would actually throw up other reference pictures that people threw up on, discussion forums and all that, of the previous Armory suit and just the height difference of this one and just how much they've updated from that version. A lot of people thought that was the definitive version. I think this one has surpassed that. And it's just wild to think how much Hot Toys have upgraded. But saying that, as much as I can praise this as a huge update compared to the other ones, I think Hot Toys do need to be accountable for making 4 or 5 of these and still giving us an inaccurate cape. And if InArt come in and give us everything accurate right out the bat, no pun intended, with their first Bale Batman being flawless, that's going to be looking real bad on Hot Toys because they've made 4 attempts, including this one. This might be their 5th attempt making this, like I said, and it's still a little bit wonky with this cape. And like I said, I don't know if that's just mine, how it's a bit tilted, but if that's on all the figures, that's a bit of a problem too, because then you have to like manhandly twist it around. And again, I don't want to risk breaking this. I don't even want to articulate this because it's kind of like you have it as is and throw it in a detail for a shelf or whatever. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab some other Hot Toy Batman and quickly do a comparison, and I'll wrap it up and finish. So here we have the Dx19 next to the Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis figure. Or you can just say it's Batman in the suit. I like to say it's Terry McGinnis because, you know. And the height difference is actually insane, you know. The Batman Begins figure is a beast of a figure. And there's 2 reasons why I chose him to compare. One, it's actually the only Hot Toys Batman I currently have. I've actually gotten rid of all my Hot Toys Batman figures. And you know, I wanted to wait to get this one and buy the InArt one and do a respectable comparison. The same with the Robert Pattinson Batman. I kind of don't have a connection with Affleck, so I sold up all my Affleck ones. And Keating, I unfortunately never had a chance to get any of them. Which hopefully with the new movie, we can get some suit from that wreck of a movie. So that's my number 1 reason why I chose this one, because I got a lot of other statues, but obviously I'm not going to bring them up. And my second reason was the suits are pretty much very similar in the way that they've architecturally been designed, where it's a fabric underneath and it's padded over the actual fabric. Kind of like carbon fiber, Kevlar style armoring. And they kind of do have a little bit of similarities with the padding and armor style. So I thought I might as well throw Batman Begins up. And like I said, this one's just a beast of a figure, so I might as well just, you know, show him off. But yeah, this one's awesome. And obviously, no doubt this one as well. It's just that cape. I wish they'd done a little bit better with the cape. But other than that, they've done pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the comparisons. Like I said, I don't have a lot of Batman right now in my collection. Even though I like to say that I'm the Batman collector. But there will be more in the future, obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the comparisons. Now I'll go into my final thoughts and finish out. So this is basically my final thoughts on the actual figure itself. Obviously the Dx19 right here. Overall, I like it. I think it's a really, really good figure. For Christian Bale Batman fans, for Nolan fans like myself, for Batman fans in general, I'd say hop on this. I think the only negative is the cape, and I think that's going to be the question whether you want to get this one or hold out for a couple more months and get the InArt version instead. And of course, we've got to see what that one looks like as well. But overall, I love this. Like I said, I'm a massive Batman fan, so of course I was going to hop on and grab this. And honestly, I actually can't wait to see what Hot Toys do next for Batman regarding the Robert Pattinson one. It really looks like they've put a lot of effort into that one for the competition. And I really want to see how that turns out. Because again, the competition is good, and I think companies do need a little push sometimes when they want to slack off. Not saying this is a lazy attempt, but I'm just saying as a general broad opinion, I think competition is good. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this. Like I said, I've got really no overwhelming negative stuff to say about this. Aside from the cape, and I do think Hot Toys should smarten up when it comes to capes. Because again, you've done this 4 or 5 times. You should really step it up. Aside from that though, the rest is pretty much a worthy upgrade. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you like and sub. And I'll see you in the next one.